You are 65 years old with $1.5 million saved in your 401k, and you're wondering if that is enough to retire comfortably. Here's the problem. Depending on how you structure this, you could either spend the next 30 years enjoying the retirement you worked so hard for, or you could watch taxes, healthcare costs, and bad withdrawal timing quietly drain your account faster than you ever expected. And the difference between those two outcomes often comes down to decisions most people never think about. Hi, I'm Scott O'Connell with Tactical Investment Advisors, and I've spent years helping people in exactly your situation figure out not just whether they can retire, but how to do it without making expensive mistakes. And today I'm going to show you three things. First, what it takes to turn 1.5 million into reliable monthly income. Second, the hidden costs that catch most new retirees off guard. And third, a framework you can use to stress test whether your number is enough. Let me start with the math most people get wrong. The standard advice says take 4% of your portfolio in year one, then adjust for inflation every year after that. On 1.5 million, that gives you $60,000 a year or $5,000 a month. Sounds reasonable, but here's where things get interesting. That 60,000 is not what hits your bank account. This is the gross number. The money sitting in your 401k has never been taxed. Every dollar you pull out gets added to your taxable income. So, if you withdraw 60,000, you might only see 55,000 after federal and state taxes. Already you are dealing with less than you thought. But that is not the real issue. The original 4% rule research dates back to the 1990s using historical market data. That is not how real people spend money. Research shows retirees spend more in early retirement when they are healthy and want to travel, less in their 70s, then more again when healthcare costs spike. This is called the retirement spending smile. If you plan to use a straight line, but your actual spending follows a curve, your projections may become less reliable before you even start. Then there are costs waiting for you that never show up on a basic retirement calculator. Let me show you the three biggest ones. First, healthcare. You qualify for Medicare at 65, which sounds great, but Medicare is not free and it does not cover everything. Part B premiums alone are around $200 per month range in 2026. If your income crosses certain thresholds, you get the added bonus of paying more premiums for Medicare. This is called IRMA. Pull too much from your 401k in a single year and suddenly your Medicare costs spike. Add in supplemental coverage, Part D for prescriptions and out-of-pocket costs, and you are looking at $8,000 to $12,000 a year just for healthcare. Did your 4% calculation include that? Most do not. Second, your taxes are going to change whether you want them to or not. Right now, you might be in the 22 or 24% bracket. But at age 73, the IRS forces you to start taking required minimum distributions from that 401k. If you were born in 1961 or later, that age is 75. Here's the problem. Those RMDs are based on your account balance. The larger your account grows, the larger the forced withdrawal, and every dollar is fully taxable. So even if you manage your spending perfectly in your 60s, the IRS will eventually force money out on their schedule. If your 401k keeps growing, those RMDs could push you into the higher tax bracket and trigger higher Medicare premiums at the worst possible time. Third, and this is the one that can create major challenges for retirement plans, sequence of returns risk. If the market drops 20 or 30% in your first few years while you are pulling money out and doesn't recover for 3 to 5 years, it can materially reduce the long-term sustainability of the portfolio. A bad first few years combined with ongoing withdrawals can significantly reduce what your portfolio may be able to support over time. Depending on market conditions, withdrawal strategy, and spending flexibility, 1.5 million may support retirement for very different lengths of time. Now, if you are watching this and realizing you have not stress tested your plan against these scenarios, you are not alone. This is exactly the kind of analysis we do at Tactical Investment Advisors. If you want help running your specific numbers, I have put a link in the description below to book a time with me. Before you decide if 1.5 million is enough, you need to answer 4 questions. These factors can materially impact how reliable your retirement projections are. Question 1, what is your actual monthly spending need? Not what you hope to spend. How much does it cost us to survive right now? Housing, food, travel, healthcare, insurance, taxes, and the things that make retirement worth having. Be honest with yourself. It is common for retirees to underestimate this by a meaningful margin, and that gap compounds every single year. Question 2, what guaranteed income do you have coming in? Social Security is the big one, and when you claim it, it changes everything. If you wait until full retirement age, which is 67 for most people retiring now, you might get around $2,500 a month. Wait until 70 and your benefit increases by about 8% per year. That can mean over $3,000 a month for life. A spouse might add additional income through their own record or spousal benefits. Here's why this matters. That guaranteed income reduces how much you need to pull from your portfolio. If you need $7,000 a month and your Social Security covers $4,000, your 401k only needs to cover $3,000. That may reduce pressure on your portfolio over time. Question 3, what is your tax situation? If all of your money is in pre-tax 401k, every dollar you withdraw is taxable. But if you have some money in a Roth IRA or taxable brokerage accounts, you have flexibility. You can blend withdrawals from different account types to manage your tax bracket year by year. If you do not have the flexibility now, Roth conversions before RMDs kick in might be worth exploring. Question 4, what is your backup plan? What happens if the market drops 40% in your first year of retirement? What happens if you need long-term care at 80? What happens if your spouse dies and your Social Security income drops? These are uncomfortable questions, but answering them now is the difference between a real plan and just hoping things work out. Let me bring this together. 1.5 million at 65 can absolutely support a comfortable retirement. But here's what most people miss. The number by itself is only part of the equation without a strategy behind it. You need to understand your real spending, optimize your Social Security timing, manage your tax exposure across decades, and build a cushion for the things you cannot predict. In many cases, retirement problems are driven as much by poor withdrawal and tax planning as by insufficient savings. So here's the bottom line. You have done the hard part. You saved $1.5 million. That places you in a stronger position than many people approaching retirement. But the decisions you make in the next few years will shape much of what retirement looks like moving forward. When you claim Social Security, how to structure withdrawals, whether to do Roth conversions, how to handle Medicare, those decisions may play a major role in how sustainable that money is over the long term. The difference between a successful retirement and a stressful one often comes down to the planning you do right now, before you stop working. And if you want to learn more about the kinds of retirement strategies and risk we discussed today, I've also included a link below where you can download my free retirement guide. If you want to sit down and map out what this looks like for your situation, book a time with me. The links are in the description below. See you in the next video.